I'm Coffee Kevin. Why is a gooseneck kettle so popular for brewing coffee? As I was reading some gooseneck kettle buyers' reviews over the weekend, it suddenly occurred to me there's very little out there justifying it. I think most people get the reason to own a kettle, but why a gooseneck version? Are they really necessary? Is there any reason not to use one? Any other features worth noting? Here is a Chemex kettle. It's become one of my favorites. I must own a dozen or more different kettles. This one is extremely well made. A bit noisy due to the conductive heat method, which must use a cooling fan. It's not the fastest, but it's beautiful, and your water touches mostly glass, which means something to many people. The Chemex is designed for shop duty to accompany their most famous product, this pour-over coffee brewer. I'm using a Chemex as I speak, so you will see firsthand the benefits and possible limitations of using a gooseneck kettle. First, let me explain why a growing number of people have returned to manual drip coffee making. Instead of an automatic coffee maker, you pour hot water over the grounds. Using a kettle, you decide when the water is the right temperature for brewing. The Gold Cup standard range set many years ago is between 195 and 205 Fahrenheit. It may interest you to know that the original Chemex instructions specified a somewhat lower temperature. Regardless, heating water separately allows you to control and monitor its temperature. I'm choosing 197 for this lovely brew today. Note, this kettle allows you to set the temperature. It displays it, and it beeps once it arrives at your chosen degree. The gooseneck design gives you a highly directional pour. Most automatic drip machines are quite limited in comparison. As more folks buy fresher, locally roasted coffees, the importance of careful brewing increases. This doesn't just apply to coffee. Watch your neighbor carefully grilling their dinner on the ubiquitous outdoor barbecue if you doubt me. Back to our subject. Fresh roasted, fresh ground coffees are more effervescent and will foam up as the hot water mixes with the grounds. These floating grounds are actually going to give less extract unless you constantly keep them underwater. With canned coffee or even pre-packaged beans from some of the larger brands, this was never much of a problem. Older, staler coffees were unlikely to have enough freshness to foam up. Let me emphasize this. To extract the best from freshly roasted, freshly ground coffee, you want to control their extraction by monitoring the surrounding water, keeping all the grounds wet throughout the brewing contact time. The gooseneck design helps do this, directing the water in order to ensure all the grounds get equally wet, while a well-balanced kettle makes it easy to pause mid-air as the grounds foam up and then pour again as they settle throughout the brewing. It's part of why a manual pour-over still has some advantage over most automatic brewing. However, you can get too much of a good thing. Colleagues like my friend Oren Bluestein, whose Chemex technique is among the best I've yet encountered, is a gooseneck denier. He prefers to use a wider mouth kettle, such as Capresso's glass kettle seen here. But look at the difference. Oren's view is that the wider stream trades the pinpoint accuracy for more idealized velocity, more thrust, which creates more brewing turbulence. Think of turbulence as a sort of natural stirring of the coffee caused by the pouring water. He believes this facilitates extraction. Which is better is for you to decide. I know of no actual research that's proven either gooseneck or wider mouth kettles definitely make better coffee, but most enthusiasts prefer one or the other. Either way, I highly recommend a kettle with temperature set controls and readout. This feature gives you the ability to set temperature to the exact degree. If you follow me, you know that I find significant importance in brewing temperature. The industry standard ranges from 196 to 205 Fahrenheit, but you should know that 197 water is going to make a different tasting cup than 203 degree water, even though they're both within standard, within spec. Let me tease you a bit when I also mention that several AeroPress champions reported to me they get the best results at 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Just to keep things interesting, let me point out that my industry friends who make these kettles tell me the temperature readouts are not always perfect. What they likely are is consistent between brewing. So once you get one, you can pretty much count on them batch to batch. If nothing else, I hope this explains some of the thinking why a gooseneck was introduced, and more understanding the benefits of temperature selection and readouts. Most important, I hope you get a better understanding of why manual drip still has its adherents and how to choose a kettle. No matter what kettle, manual drip pour over is here to stay. It's fun and can produce seemingly endless taste variations, most of them quite savory. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Java Master, whose small footprint in grocery store roaster is going to be a freshness game changer for many of us. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, share. This helps spread the word and keeps you in the loop about upcoming events. I'm Coffee Kevin.